Hi, my name is Leslie Blake. I'm going to help you to bring an application for a domestic violence interdict in terms of the Domestic Violence Act in South Africa. I've been an attorney since 1995 and I've been doing domestic violence interdicts for probably 20 years. So I do have the capacity to explain exactly what the court is looking for when they're bringing this application. I'm not going to explain anything about what ought to happen. I'm simply going to talk to you about what you can achieve with this application. Please don't start at a police station. Police have got nothing to do with this matter. Please start by downloading from the internet the domestic violence application form and filling that in with a nice cup of tea or coffee in a coffee shop or at home in your own time. It's not something to be rushed. The application form looks like this. And as I said, it's available on the Department of Justice's website. It's also available on my own website, blakeattorneys.co.za. And it says Form 2, Regulation 4, Section 4 of the Domestic Violence Act number 116 of 1998. In that first paragraph, it says particulars of complainant, that is you. You fill in your surname, your full names, all of those kinds of things. If you don't want the person who's abusing you to know where you are now, you can lie on the paragraph where it says home or temporary address. Don't tell anybody that you lied. Just put in a fake address, okay? Take my advice. Paragraph 2, particulars of person making the application on behalf of the complainant, not relevant to you. Just put a line through the whole of paragraph 2. So that's this section at the bottom here. Put a line through it. Put a line through most of this page. All of that, line through that. Okay. Here is the paragraph that's important. The details of the person who committed the act of domestic violence. That person is called the respondent in these proceedings, and I'll refer to that person as the respondent. So you put in the details that you have for that person. If you don't have an ID number, if you don't have a work address, don't worry about it. Even if you only have a work address, then just use the work address. Don't worry about any information that you don't have, just put in what you do have. Persons affected by domestic violence, there the court wants to know about the people who are in the household, or people who he has potentially also threatened. If he's, for example, threatened your mother, or he's threatened your sister because he knows that they're going to assist you, please put those details in. How are these people affected? If the children have seen him committing acts of domestic violence, write in they've seen me being assaulted, or they've seen the things happening before them. Same applies to your sister. They've been threatened. He has threatened to harm her. He's threatened to beat her up or kill her, whatever the case might be. And if any of those people suffer disabilities, then please put that in as well. Then right at the bottom of the page here, it says, tell us about what actually happened. And they only give you this little block to do that in. Please don't take that as an indication that you have to fill it in that block. You can start here, and please just write at the bottom of the block, I refer to page 6 and 7 and 8 attached to this. So you've got as much space as you want to complete what's going on. I'm going to pause here and just go through what should be in this paragraph. What should be in this paragraph is the pattern of domestic violence. So don't tell me about one incident, because you may well be refused a domestic violence interdict if you only talk about one incident of domestic violence. Please tell us about the pattern. And when I say a pattern, I don't mean that you need to wait for him to beat you up 4 times, because he might kill you the 3rd time. You need to talk to us about what domestic violence is in terms of the Domestic Violence Act. And in terms of the Domestic Violence Act, domestic violence includes threats, intimidation, insult, derogatory remarks, a pattern of coercive behavior in various ways. So, when you are talking about 10 years, obviously I don't want you to put in there 10 years of every single incident that took place in 10 years. If it's over a long period of time, then the way to do it is to say, for example, in 2013, we had an argument. He pushed me down the stairs and I broke my ankle. In 2015, he shoved me across the room and then he locked me inside the room for 2 days. in 2015, he started calling me useless, and he physically stopped me from going to work because he went to my boss and said I'm not allowed to work there anymore. Whenever you talk about an incident in which the respondent exercised control in some way, try not to just say he won't let me or he stopped me. Say what actually happened. He went to my boss and he said, you're having an affair with my wife and she's not coming here anymore. Okay? Try to be as direct as possible. Don't use the word abuse. I know this is about abuse. Don't use the word abuse because it doesn't mean anything. Don't say he abused me. Say he pushed me if he pushed you. Say he called me a whore if he called you a whore. Tell us exactly what happened in the simplest, easiest, most straightforward possible English, okay? Don't tell us every incident for 20 years, but please do make sure that the most recent incident is the one that you start with, so that we know what the cause is that pushed you to the last thing, right? In information regarding, the next paragraph then is about the information regarding urgency. So in that paragraph, you will just put things like, I've moved out of the house and he has threatened to kill me and I need to make sure that he can't get near me. I'm really worried about my safety. In terms of the last paragraph, it says terms of the protection order. This is a really important paragraph. And on the next page, it gives you all the things that you can ask for. Read through all of them carefully before you start, so that you know, for example, you're almost always going to say the respondent, the physical address of the complainant's residence not be disclosed to the respondent because you don't want him to know where you are. When it comes to putting in contact with a minor child or not contact with a minor child, you know, if you're at a position where you think he might kill you, then don't fill those in. Just scratch it out, and you can always bring that issue to the family court at a later stage for them to decide, you know, how he's behaved since you've moved out, whether and how you can arrange contact with the minor children. Please don't ever allow yourself to be told that you may not move out with your children. You may. Unless there's a court order that says you may not, you may. The Children's Act says that both parents are joint holders of parental rights, not equal. What does that mean? Nobody knows. Just take your children and get the hell out of the house. Don't wait for a court order to have your children or you'll never see them again. Please move out of the house with your children, and you can always negotiate what access and what contact arrangements should be made when you are safe, from a place of safety. So make sure that, you know, you complete the things like he may not come near your place of work, he may not come near your place of residence, and be very certain that you are going to complete the section that says you want to be able to come back to the property and collect your stuff, whether that's the children's school shoes, etc., etc. Put in some indication here of the things that you would like to collect subsequently, because obviously it may not be possible to take all your stuff with you when you move out. The important thing to do is to get this form completed, make 2 copies of it, and then take it to your magistrate's court, not the police. Police have got nothing to do with it at this point. Go to the closest magistrate's court to you. The magistrate's court will take, the registrar at the domestic violence section will take this form from you, open it, give it a case number, and then give it to the magistrate. The registrar doesn't make any decisions. You don't have to impress the registrar. The magistrate is going to decide whether or not this order is granted. Once the magistrate has decided, she gives the registrar the documents back, and the registrar comes and gives them to you. At that point, there's one of 2 options. Either the magistrate has decided, yes, you're going to get an order and give you an immediate order for service on the other side, and from the moment that that domestic violence interdict is served, he is obliged to comply with all the orders in here. The other option is they've said, well, we're not so sure that you've quite persuaded us you need this, but come back on such and such a day and you can have another go at persuading us why you need this. Either of those are good and fine and well. There's not a problem. you take those to your local sheriff and you ask the sheriff to go and serve the documents on him. That's going to set you back somewhere between 200 and 500 Rand. If you really can't afford that, then you can take it to your local police station and ask the police to go and serve it on him. The police have decided, for reasons of sheer stupidity, that you must go along with this. So that provides him with an opportunity to commit acts of violence on you in front of the police. I don't know why they make you do that. It's completely not required in the act, but the police are just stupid. So they make you go along to serve this domestic violence interdict, but they will then give you the documents and, if you're lucky, prevent him from hitting you or killing you. And you then take those documents and keep them until the court date you've been given. Make sure that you get the documents back from the police. If the sheriff has done the service, go and get the documents from the sheriff afterwards. The court will need them when you go back to court for the opportunity for him to oppose the matter and file opposing papers. Please don't be scared to go back to court. You're going to sit in a corridor full of other people who've been through the same thing that you have. There is some security, and the chances of him being able to kill you in that court are very slim. Please persist, and best of luck. I hope this was helpful.